So I've got this idea of the community and the environment I want to live in. And the question is whether or not to find it somewhere where it exists already and move there, or create it myself where I am right now. And so far, I've been working on creating it myself where I am right now. And right now I'm in Bali. And what I want to create is a community of creative people that are doing art, building businesses, helping philanthropic projects, in other words, helping other people in some way, and that we all feed off each other's energy and inspire each other and support each other and collaborate with each other. There's this thing called the cluster effect, which is the people that, if you're surrounded by a certain group of people, they affect each other, basically. And so the idea is that you want to be surrounded by the kind of people that are doing the thing you want to do or are doing, and then you make each other better. So the most famous example is probably Florence, Italy during the Renaissance. And you had all these great artists that inspired each other and affected each other in their art. And there's also, of course, Silicon Valley, where you have so many tech people in the same area that they're affecting each other. They end up teaming up or sharing resources or mentoring each other, et cetera, et cetera. And it's hard to do that in isolation. It's hard to become the best version of whatever you're trying to do by yourself, right? And so where I am in Bali, there's a great community, great people, but what I'm describing doesn't exactly exist. So I started to build it, and I've started doing this free workshop for 7 weeks now, where it's for all kinds of creators, like artists, entrepreneurs, content creators, any kind of creator in the broader sense. And I do the workshop weekly to help them get through their blocks and creating their best work. So I'm getting them into action, getting them through their blocks and getting them to create better, and then also bringing them together in a physical space to try to create this community that I want to live in. So to create this cluster effect so that I can benefit from it, as well as help other people to create what they want to create. But it is hard to build something from scratch, build a community from scratch. And the challenge here in Bali is that a lot of people come here for temporary stays. And a lot of times it's extended temporary stays. It's not just a week, it's months. But nevertheless, it's a temporary stay. And so in terms of building a long-term community, it makes it more challenging because people obviously are not here for the long term. So I would say that's the major challenge that I'm seeing and running into, and that talking to people that have been here for longer than I have, that is the big challenge for building any kind of long-term anything. I've also been teaching comedy improv and also got back into it myself. I hadn't done it for 7 years before coming here in 2022. Is when I got to Bali. So I hadn't done it since 2016. Actually, I didn't start doing it here till 2023. Anyway, that detail doesn't matter. Point is, I hadn't done it for a while, so I got back into myself, and then I started teaching it. And that also, to get good at improv, you got to do it for a while and consistently and train at it. And that's also hard because, like I said, people are here temporarily. And so creating the improv community and the improv team that I want to be part of and perform with has been a challenge as well. And so that's why I'm right in the moment questioning, do I want to keep building it here or attempting to build it here where I am, or do I want to find the community that I want to be part of that exists somewhere and move there and join it? And I don't have the answer. And right now I'm here and I'm still going to be building here. I'm not giving up on it just yet, but I'm just starting to question if it's worth it and if I shouldn't go find it where it exists already. Now, the advantages, of course, of building it here are, one, I'm already here. So just, I don't have to move. And moving to different countries obviously is a challenge. And if I were going to, it's not going to exist here in this country, in Indonesia. So if I was going to go find it somewhere else, like if it's anywhere in Indonesia, it's got to be Bali. It's going to be Bali. But if I want to find it somewhere else, I would look out in a different country, and moving to a different country as a whole, there's a lot to it, and visas and all that. And I don't know, there's some resistance to trying to go through that all again. And then also just starting over, learning how to live in a place, all the small things of living in a place. And then there's the bigger things, the culture, and then making all new friends, and et cetera, et cetera. So I've never liked moving, and that was even within the US. Now we're talking about a totally different country. So yeah, so advantage of staying here is I'm already here. I already know how to live here, basically, and do live here. Also, of course, if I'm building it, then I'm building it the way I want it. I'm designing it. And so I'm getting to have more creative control over the whole thing. And I can design it the way I want it. I can teach people how to do things the way I want it. I can teach people how to do improv the way I like to do it. I can, et cetera, et cetera. And with that creative control comes a certain amount of fulfillment, because I'm creating something from my mind and my heart, and then seeing it come to fruition and see people benefit from it. That is very fulfilling. And that's the fulfillment of the creative process, and why I'm so passionate about not just creating myself, but getting other people to create, because I think it's so fulfilling. And it's, I think, essential ingredient to having a fulfilling life. I don't think you can have a fulfilling life without creating, without a creative pursuit of some kind. And that just means creating something new, which could be a new way to do something. It could be art, but it could be a business. It could be a new way to do something in math or science. It's just about being creative and creating a new thing, a new whatever, whether that's physical or a technique or anything, a joke. Point being that if I were to go somewhere else, it would be designed by someone else. Now, I don't know, obviously, until I go find these communities. Maybe someone's designed it better than I could ever even imagine. I can even think of the ways, whatever ways they came up with, and how, and just the people that are there and how it all worked out. So I don't know, until I go look, obviously, whether a better version than I could build exists already, and that I would be better off just joining that. So that's unknown. But also, I could not find anything good. Maybe it exists to some extent, but I don't know if it exists exactly the way I'd want it to exist. So anyway, that's obviously a drawback. So I'm considering, anyway, that's on the table. And I think the other version, which is not mutually exclusive, is online, virtual, to find and or create the community virtually online. And I think that I'm attempting to do that either way, whether or not I stay here, whether or not I go somewhere else, that the online, that it would be valuable in many ways to create an online community of creative people that are supporting each other, inspiring each other, collaborating with each other, because one, then where I am geographically isn't as important. I can look at other factors. I have the online community. This might be a way to find the physical community somewhere else through the online community, where I will, interact with people that'll be like, hey, we have a real life community like this in blank town. Come here. So that might be a better way to find a real life one. And then also, of course, we're just becoming more and more of a virtual world. And there's just more and more that's going to be happening in virtual spaces. And obviously, you'll start to incorporate, it already is incorporating extended reality, VR, AR, MR. But that will happen more and more, obviously, as the technology gets better and more affordable. So yeah, there's just going to be more going on virtually. And also, of course, there's a much wider reach online. In other words, I can not just find people from different places and create a community where they're not all in the same physical location, but they're all from all over, but then we bring them together online, but also just reaching more people and inspiring them and getting them creating. I can get more people creating. I can have a bigger impact online than in person. So that, and it doesn't prevent online doesn't prevent in person, right? Or doesn't exclude it. Can do both. So that's why, that's one of the reasons I'm making these videos. Is I don't know exactly how this will lead to the online community. Obviously, I'll need to do more than just make these videos, but this is the start, very start of creating an online community of creatives, creators, artists, entrepreneurs, but really emphasizing that creative aspect of creating something new, like wanting to bring something new to the world. Not just how do I make something, whether it's business, whether it's movie, book, art, whatever, how do I make something to make money? There's a ton of that online, and there's a lot of value in that, and I consume that content because, yeah, money is a pretty essential part of doing anything in this world. But I don't like that vibe, essentially. In other words, the people I like to be around are people that are creating because they like to create something new, and not at the exclusion of money, not like for no money. I'm just saying the top priority is to create something new and to bring something new to the world and to add something to humanity and to other people's lives, and creating an experience, thinking about the experience that it has for other people that gives them some sort of enrichment in their life that's not just money. Because, of course, money is important and useful and we want it, but just getting someone money, it's to do something else. In other words, it's a means to an end, or it should be, because if it's not, then you don't end, because it is a means to an end. So if you treat it like an end, you never end. In other words, people that are just making money to make money, they have to keep making money. And you see this why people become a multimillionaire, then decamillionaire, then whatever 100 millionaire is, and then billionaire, and they keep going and they keep making more money. Warren Buffett is still trying to make more money. And there is no end there. But if you use money as a means to an end to do something else, right, then that's something else. It is what you're looking for, because money doesn't, after paying for all your needs, your bills, your food, your kids, everything you need, then it becomes just numbers on a computer screen, right? Numbers in your bank account. And it's what you do with it that becomes the fulfilling part. And what I'm positing and focusing on and emphasizing and speaking about is that the creative pursuit is ultimately the point of life. To do something creative, to create, right? Again, that doesn't necessarily mean strictly art, but it just means to create. And literally, that includes kids, of course. Making a kid is an act of creation. So that's part of my philosophy, essentially, that the point of life is to create. It includes kids, but it also includes other stuff. And I guess I'll wrap up here, that the point of that I'm trying to get more people to create, and I also want to not just getting them to create, but then getting them to create and getting them to develop their creative skills and their craft, and so they can create the best work they can realize their potential. They can create the best work that is possible for them when they've developed their skill and craft to the max that they can. And this is also what I want to do. I've developed some pretty good creative skills in the area of writing, screenwriting, storytelling, filmmaking, directing, but I want to develop them even more. I want to get better than I am and create better works than I have already. And I'm seeing that this cluster effect, I think, is an essential part of it. And so that's what I'm trying to create is that cluster, that community. And I'll keep you posted on how that goes, because like I said, I do want to do it online. That is what I'm just getting started here with these videos, but also I want to have a real life version also. I think that's also important. And so I'm going to keep working on creating here in Bali, and we'll see how that goes, but keeping the options open of finding it somewhere else. And if you want to be part of this, well, hit me up online. At least let's make the online version, but also maybe you move to Bali, right? Do you like where you're living? Is that a good place to live? And Bali's pretty sweet. So maybe I can convince people of like mind to move to Bali and help me create it, that want to stay here, as opposed to, like I said, the people that only come temporarily. So anyway, that's the video for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep making these daily and keep you posted, and please reach out if what I'm talking about is attractive to you. All right.